Welcome to the VertiMax V8 functional overview video. This video is going to educate you about the various band types on the VertiMax V8 system, which has 8 different bands you can use to do sport-specific training. It'll educate you about the band sizes, the resistance setting levels of each band, and also some of the functional attributes of the VertiMax V8 system with respect to which bands are used for which types of exercises. It's a very important video to get you familiar with the V8 and how it's to be used to elevate your athletic performance to the next level. Every V8 system has 8 resistance bands that can be attached to the athlete. Band pair A, consisting of cords 1 and 2, and band pair B, consisting of cords 3 and 4, are typically used to apply a waist load when vertical jump training. Each of these cords exit a pivoting tracking system, which allows the cords to move laterally with the athlete when they jump train to better maintain balance. It's important to note that whenever an athlete has any combination of band set A or B comprised of cords 1, 2, 3, or 4 attached to their waist or anywhere else on their body, they must remain on the training mat when training. If you attempt to leave the mat with any of those cords 1 through 4 attached to your body, the cord will strike the crescent-shaped cutout where the pivoting tracking assembly pivots, and you will end up damaging the molding and the cord. Band set C, comprised of cords 5 and 6, are on the back side of the system, and band set D, comprised of cords 7 and 8, are on the front side of the system. Band set C and D can be relocated around the perimeter of the mat on any of the 6 rails highlighted here. Each of the 4 topside bands, 5, 6, 7, and 8, exit a pulley system that is slidable on the 6 rails around the perimeter of the mat. The slidable pulley systems have a push-button mechanism where you depress the button and allows the pulley to slide on the rails, and you can reposition the pulleys on any of the 6 rails and then attach them to the athlete. The slidable pulley systems on bands 5 through 8 also swivel, which allows the cords to move 360 degrees around the pivot point. And this is how athletes can train on the platform or off platform with bands 5, 6, 7, and 8. Watch how you can relocate all 4 pulley systems around the perimeter of the mat to configure thousands of sport-specific training configurations to take any athlete to the next level. Now, before we say anything about changing resistance on the V8 system, it's very important to note that with VertiMax, when you're trying to develop explosive power and speed, it's very important to achieve the highest velocities possible on every repetition using 100% effort. That means it's not that important whether you're using 10 pounds, 12 pounds, or 15 pounds. What is important is to not use too much resistance. The one thing you want to remember about resistance in VertiMax is the fact that you can never put too little load on an athlete. If you use a lighter load, you're just going to go faster on every repetition, which is great for developing power at higher velocities. But it's very easy to overload an athlete too much on VertiMax, because as the load increases, your training velocity is going to decrease, and that's counterproductive to developing power and strength at higher velocities. And the VertiMax system provides a simple way for the athlete to gauge approximately how much resistance they're using. But again, absolute levels are not as important as absolute speed. Okay, let's talk about adjusting the resistance on a V8 system. The tail end of each of the 8 bands on the V8 system, which does not connect to the athlete, exits the platform through its own cam cleat. With the cam cleat, the athlete can extract or retract the cord and lock it into position to change the effective length of the cord and thus change the resistance. Using the cam cleats, along with the ability to string multiple different cord sizes within a single V8 system, gives us the ability to provide a very large range of resistances for any athlete. Our standard configuration, which will satisfy the needs of 95% of all athletes, can apply as little as 5 pounds or as much as 140 pounds depending on the exercise configuration. The youth configuration, which is typically recommended for athletes under 10 years old, can apply as little as 2 pounds or as much as 80 pounds of resistance depending on the exercise configuration. The upper end configuration, which we call our Pro configuration, can apply as little as 10 pounds or as much as 200 pounds to the athlete depending on the exercise configuration. Now we're going to show you the resistance adjustment and cord placement procedure on a V8 system which is strung with our most popular standard core configuration. Band set A, consisting of cords 1 and 2, are the largest 2 bands on the system, constructed of 3/8" diameter bands. The resistance adjustment range on these bands is from 14 to 28 pounds. To adjust the resistance on these bands, you extract the 2 cords that exit the bottom of the platform on the rear side of the platform. For cord 1 and 2, when you have one black band showing on each cord, you have approximately 14 pounds of resistance at the end of each of the bands exiting the pivoting tracking system. To adjust the resistance on these bands, the athlete grabs the cords, pushes them down to disengage them from the cam cleats, and then extracts them. As you can see here, I pulled out a second black band. Now there are two black bands showing. For band 1 and 2, that second black band equates to about a 2.5 to 3 pound increase in resistance, going from 14 to approximately 17 pounds of resistance. If I extract enough cordage so there are 5 black bands showing on each cord, that means I've got a maximum resistance setting on cords 1 and 2, which will apply approximately 28 pounds per band, or a total of 56 pounds on the athlete. To decrease the resistance, the athlete pushes the bands down to disengage them from the cam cleats and just let them slide through your hands until they completely retract. And now we're back to a minimum resistance setting on cords 1 and 2 of approximately 14 pounds per band. Each of the 8 bands has its own label indicating the diameter of the band and the resistance adjustment range. In this specific case, we're zooming in on cord 1's label, indicating it's a 3/8 inch diameter band with a min resistance setting of 14 pounds and a max resistance setting of 28 pounds. Band set B, consisting of cords 3 and 4, is constructed of the mid-sized band, which is a 5/16 inch diameter band. The minimum and maximum resistance adjustment range on this band is from 8 to 16 pounds. To adjust the resistance on cords 3 and 4, you extract the 2 cords that exit from underneath the front end of the system, highlighted here. When you have one black band showing on cords 3 and 4, you have approximately 8 pounds applied to the athlete at the opposite end of the cord. The resistance is altered on these bands the same exact way as shown with cord set A. The athlete will grab the bands, push them down to disengage them from the cam cleats, and then extract the cords to the next black band. This is a smaller diameter band, so every time you extract a black band, the resistance is going to increase about 2 pounds as opposed to 3 with cords 1 and 2. If you extract the cordage so you've got 5 black bands visible on the cord, you're going to have a maximum resistance setting at the opposite end of the cord of approximately 16 pounds. As with band set A, to reduce the resistance, you simply push down the cords to disengage them and let them slide back into the machine, and then pull them up to lock them in place. You'll find the resistance label for bands 3 and 4 on the back side of each pivoting tracking assembly. The label indicates a 5/16 inch core diameter, a minimum resistance setting of 8 pounds, and a maximum resistance setting of 16 pounds. So to summarize the minimum and maximum resistance you can apply to an athlete on the V8 system for vertical jump training, if you attach bands 3 and 4 to the athlete, with one black band visible on cords 3 and 4, you'll have approximately 8 pounds applied by each cord to the athlete for a total of 16 pounds. This provides a suitable jump training resistance for many athletes in the 8 to 10-year-old range. If you extract bands 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 so that all 5 black bands are visible for each cord set, and then attach bands 1, 2, 3, and 4 to the athlete, you'll have 28 pounds applied by bands 1 and 2 for a total of 56 pounds, and you'll have 16 pounds applied by bands 3 and 4 for a total of 32 pounds. The total of 56 and 32 pounds applied by the 4 bands will provide an approximate total vertical jump training resistance of 88 to 90 pounds. The ability to incrementally set jump training resistance from 16 pounds up to 100 pounds gives you the ability to train athletes under 10 years old all the way up to the professional level. For athletes under the age of 10, we have custom cord configurations that can apply as little as 4 pounds of resistance for vertical jump training. Band set C, consisting of cords 5 and 6, is also constructed of a 5/16 inch diameter band. The minimum and maximum resistance setting for cords 5 and 6 is the same as cords 3 and 4, that minimum and maximum range being 8 to 16 pounds. To adjust the resistance on cords 5 and 6, you extract or retract the cords from the back corners of the V8 system, highlighted here. The resistance labels for bands 5 and 6 are located right next to the cam cleats where the cords exit the system. These labels indicate the 5/16 inch core diameter, the minimum resistance setting of 8 pounds, and maximum resistance setting of 16 pounds. To adjust the resistance on band 6, you want to make sure that you disengage the cam cleat first to let the cord flow free. This allows the athlete to position the sliding pulley on any rail they want without the cord pulling on the assembly while they're trying to adjust it. So first you disengage, then you move the sliding pulley assembly where you want it. When this button goes flat on top, you know it's locked in place. Now once the pulley system is locked in place, we set the resistance to a minimum level. The way that's done is you grab the cord and you start pulling on it. When you feel the cord begin to get tight, you pull approximately another 6 inches and lock down. Now let's say I want to set the resistance on cord 5 with the sliding pulley over here. Again, I disengage the cam cleat to let the cord go slack. I depress the button on the end of the sliding pulley assembly to release it. Then I'll take it off and put it on the other T-rail and let that button snap to lock it in place. Once it's locked in place, I'm going to extract the cord, and as soon as I feel it start getting tight, I'm going to pull another 6 inches and lock down. Now we have approximately 8 pounds set on band 6 that we can use for any exercise on or off platform. And finally, we'll take a look at how you adjust the resistance on cord set D consisting of bands 7 and 8. Band set D, consisting of cords 7 and 8, is constructed of a 1/4 inch diameter band. These two bands are the thinnest of the 8 bands, and their minimum and maximum adjustable resistance range is from 5 to 10 pounds. The resistance labels for bands 7 and 8 are located next to the cam cleats where bands 7 and 8 exit the system. These labels indicate a 1/4 inch band diameter with a minimum resistance setting of 5 pounds and maximum setting of 10 pounds. These two bands, which provide a lower level of resistance, are typically used for foot loading when performing high-speed off-platform training. Just as with bands 5 and 6, when you want to set the initial starting resistance on band 7, for instance, you disengage the cam cleat to allow the cord to flow. You position the pulley system to where you want it and make sure it locks in place by this button going flat. Once it's locked in place, you extract the cord till you feel it getting tight, and that's going to happen when this rubber stopper hits the pulley system. When you feel it getting tight, you extract about 6 inches of band and lock it down, and now you have a minimum starting resistance of approximately 5 pounds on this band. Now let's say I want to put band 8 on the left side of the front rail. I'm going to disengage the cord from the cam cleat so it goes slack. I'm going to depress the button on the sliding pulley assembly to disengage it and slide it over to the left side of the rail here. Again, I'm going to make sure it's locked in place. Now this cord is just now getting tight, so I'm just going to simply extract about 6 inches and lock it down. And now we have a minimum resistance setting here of approximately 5 pounds to begin our exercise. Now we're going to take a look at the underside of the VertiMax system to answer a couple questions that we always have. Number 1, how does it stay down? And number 2, can you move it? To address the question how VertiMax stays down, there's 2 ways we do it. One is you can see it, there's a suction cup fastened to every leg on the underside of the VertiMax system. The suction cup is designed to stick to a non-porous surface such as a wood floor or a smooth rubber surface. If the surface is granular or grass or astroturf and a vacuum won't hold, what we've done is we've designed 4 weight retention receptacles underneath the system. This allows a user to attach 4 10 or 25-pound plates to the bottom of the system by simply removing the wing nut, and you take off the retaining bar, and you can then place a 10 or 25-pound plate on this, and we have a centering disc here to keep it centered. And then once the plate is on, you put the retaining plate and washer back on, and then you simply tighten the wing nut. Then the system will stay down without having a vacuum on the suction cups. Also note that there's a wheel attached to the bottom side of the system on the left and right. This allows the athlete to turn the system on the side and then roll it wherever you want to move it.